Tonight, we're introducing the Sonoshi Electric Spin Scrubber. This cordless beast cuts cleaning time in half. Dual speed power, waterproof grip, and 3 interchangeable heads that tackle tubs, tiles, floors, even your ride. Charge at once, clean like a pro. No cords, no elbow grease, just pure spin-powered domination. Why struggle when Sonoshi does the heavy lifting? Over 3,500 sold last month, and at just $32.99, it's flying off the shelves. Sonoshi, the future of clean is here. Don't get left behind. Grab our special link in the description and order yours today.
Welcome to the world premiere Word on the Streets, where real conversations meet real-life transformation. Today, we're diving into a topic so many couples silently face. What happens when your personal goals, the very things meant to elevate your life, start creating emotional distance in your relationship? If you've ever felt misunderstood, disconnected, or like your ambition is pulling you and your partner in different directions, this episode is for you. Let's break down the science, the signals, and the solutions. Let's get into it.
Greetings and welcome to the world premiere Word on the Streets. We're live every Thursday at 7:30 Central Standard Time. Don't miss out. After a week full of noise, constant confusion, and distraction, this is the show that cuts through the clutter. It's the hour of the week where real talk meets real truth. We bring conversations that challenge the status quo and stir something deeper in the soul. This isn't just commentary, it's clarity, purpose, and elevation. When you tune in, you're not just watching, you're waking up. A place where common sense still matters and lives. So, ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake, this is the world premiere Word on the Streets. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Put your hearts and hands together for the man who discovered his purpose and lives it loud, Larry Extraordinaire Moulton. And Mr. Gotta Get Your Mind Right and Open Your Eyes to the Blind Truth, the motivator himself, the amazing Keith Fletcher. And the man who brings clarity to chaos with the voice of reason you can't ignore, the one and only Mr. Vincent Craig. Make no mistake, there is no word without our host. Welcome to the movement. Welcome to the message. Welcome to the world premiere, Word on the Streets.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to World Premiere Word on the Streets. I am extraordinaire, along with the two most wonderful, fabulous guests that a community and a show can have. Friends, we're talking about the amazing Keith Fletcher. You all know him. You see him on Facebook. You see him on his platform called The Blind Truth on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, let's show some love for the amazing, the one and only Mr. Keith Fletcher in the house. And friends, we're talking about the man with the voice of reason. Where there's chaos, this brother steps in and just mellow things out. He take a deep breath and he pause. And then he deliver some truth, some nuggets that you're going to want to carry with you and help you throughout your day. I'm talking about the one and only, ladies and gentlemen. Show some love for Mr. Vincent Craig. Let's show some love. And gentlemen, we're going to get it on. We got another fantastic topic, man, and I know we all can't wait to get in that kitchen and start cooking up something real delicious. But I want to just say hello to everybody. Hello to my comrade. Hello to everybody. We're just excited to be here and to be on and to have you all on tuning in with us. What's up, brother? Let's talk to each other for a few minutes.
Good evening. How's it going?
Evening,
Yeah,
evening,
what's
evening.
up, man? What's up? Energize.
Yes, sir. I see we got a comment in the chat room, friends. That is Miss Selena. Good evening, Selena. Welcome to the show. So good to have you. So good
What's
to
up?
have you in the chat room holding it down. We had a very great show on last Thursday, but tonight we're talking about something that we think will resonate with not only you as an individual, but you as in relationship with others. And so, friends, the topics of the show tonight is called When Personal Goals Isolate You from Your Partner. When personal goal, when your
Yeah.
personal goal, now check it out, your personal goal, your ambition, the things you want to do, you, you dear lady, you my brother, when your personal goal isolate you from your partner. Let's chop it up, brother. Let's chop it up. I'm gonna go in the kitchen. I'm gonna just keep cooking a little bit back there, brother. Won't y'all go at it, man? Let's talk about it.
Well, I'm going to start, man. When it's topic right here, and I, listen to the blog. You know, let me just say, before I wasn't a person that had like goals. I was a person. I tell my story. I was a person that like blew in the wind. The wind blew me here and there. You know what I'm saying? Like like the sail. I heard Oprah Winfrey. I remember she used to talk about, the vision boards and the goals and all that stuff. I would never want for that. You know what I'm saying? So when I started having goals, started trying to, instead of, I say me, I call it surviving to try to thrive. Because if you ain't got no goals, you just surviving. You just blowing in the wind. So when I started trying to put goals personal by myself, it's easy. You know, but when you add that other person, that's why I like this. You add that relationship with it. That's when you hit a wall. You know what I'm saying? That's especially if you're not equipped in that position. You know what I'm saying? So this topic I feel is important, especially for relationships, because not just with me. Now that I'm older now, and I understand. I had my training with goals, went through the rigorous fire of goals with a partner and do business and do just personal and do business. And hearing other people as I talk on the show and I meet other people and have questions on that I'm talking, man, it's really important. This is a really important topic, and for goals, because we think I write my goals, I put it on a vision board. Oh my God, everything gonna be perfect, and the other person is gonna understand and they're gonna jump in. It doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? That's why you said that word personal is very
Mhm.
important. It's personal. We think that person, other person, supposed to follow our personal goals just because we said it. So, but I'm not going to go deep right now. That y'all speak on it, but we'll get deep into it. I start telling my, I like to tell my stories, my ways. But yeah, I think this is a great subject, especially for people that's in a relationship, in a marriage, trying to move forward and try to gain things in life. You know what I'm saying? To get to things in life together. So go ahead. That's me.
Yeah, for me, I've lived on goals. Goals is what sets me on fire, and it just keeps me going. But in saying that, goals change depending on where you are in life. For me, I've always been a strong believer in that saying of those that fail, those that fail to plan to fail. I have my vision board up front, so much so that I've had my wife. I have a section for her. I think the thing about our personal goals is we have our personal goals, but then we also intertwine ours, and it helps to keep us accountable to one another. It is my goal, and her goals are her goals, but it's like the thing that helps us is when you can communicate that. Sometimes you do have to isolate yourself from your partner to have your goals. Like back when I was doing my stocks and my day trading and things of that nature, I had to set aside some time so I can focus on what I needed to focus on, right? My goal is my goal. But in saying that, my goal is also her goals because I'm trying to get us to a certain place. So she has to buy into it. She doesn't always have to agree, but it is my personal goal, and she has to respect that, and I have to respect that. But we have the dialogue about that so we can share with one another where we're at, to where it doesn't hinder one another. But again, it helps as a constant reminder to hold each other accountable. Uh, Again, I have the vision board right in front of me. I have my section, I have her section, and then I have my son's section when he was staying here the first part of the year, right? But again, it just helps me to see where people are at. So
Wow, that's very interesting, man. To hear you say you have other people goals also on your vision board. That's pretty interesting. I
Well,
go it on, Fletcher.
now, where you gonna speak on it? I come behind you. Yeah, I want to tap
No,
into
no,
that.
go it on. Go it
Yeah.
on.
But I'm about to push back. But I know I would say I want to go a little back forward because we starting to the part where we saying when we finish. But it was something before that, something that happened before that. You saying that the goal has been set. Like with me, I'm at a place now, but I think to help the people out, let's go before when people wouldn't follow the goal. This is a personal, and like you say, you isolate yourself, and when you isolating yourself, you're doing these goals. You want your your spouse, you want your kids, because just say you the only person got the vision. I think it's more important for you, that person, not for them, for you, because you had a vision, you have to go explain it to them. And the thing that I had to learn, I thought it was the vision was the vision I had was for all of us. But just because I believe and it was a good vision, it was a good plan, it was a good goal, that don't mean everybody bought in on it. That don't mean everybody agreed with it. And the reason I say I had to learn, I'm gonna move forward. I had to learn it wasn't their fault. Now, yes, I give my time to myself to build it up, but when I brought to the forefront and I would get frustrated because my wife and my kids didn't understand. You know what I'm saying? My partner didn't understand. And to me, it was clear. Had it written all out, had it all that and all that, but it still didn't understand it. And I used to get frustrated that, and I thought that person, they wouldn't follow me. And what I had to learn over the time, it wasn't their fault. Like the Most High said in the Bible, the good book say, you know, when you put in your vision, make it clear. The reason they wouldn't, because I wasn't clear enough for them. Just because it's clear for me, just because I got it wrote down and it's all pretty color coded and all that stuff, doesn't mean they still understand it. Doesn't mean they see it. Doesn't mean that even that it's going good, they still don't understand it. And I had to learn that over time. That part right there was the
Yeah,
frustration. Yeah,
right.
that right there. Because this is true. You know what I'm saying? These goals and all that, marriage, it wouldn't be high percentage of divorces, wouldn't be a
Yeah,
high rate of kids not following us. So obviously these things that so I had to learn from me, I had to step back and look in the mirror, stop blaming them, stop not have a story later on about it, and stop it. So I had to learn that the vision wasn't clear. The vision wasn't clear, and I thought that person supposed to do it because she's my wife and it's this, and I'm a leader, and you think it's gonna work that way, and it doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And that's what happened to mine. You know what I'm saying because it's personal, and you think it's, but it doesn't mean that other person buying in because it ain't clear enough right there.
And you know what I was gonna say, but I'm glad you shared that because I think in my case, and maybe someone out there can relate to what I'm getting ready to say. It is somewhat similar to what Fletcher just said. I have a little different twist. This was me, word on the street community. This was me, and maybe it's some of you guys out there, maybe this might be who you are right now. But this used to be me. I would have ideals in my head, and I would just go with those thoughts in my head, not sharing them with anybody until I got to a certain point, and then I would let them in. Now, since then, I've learned there's a better way. See, what I was doing, it was like if you would take this metaphor, it was like building a home with nothing but walls, and my partner, couldn't see in. In other words, I was having goals in my own head, Vincent Fletcher. I had ideas in my head. I'm driving from my thoughts, but I wasn't sharing. I wanted to get to a certain destination before I open up and let them know, okay, this is what I'm trying to do.
Mhm.
Anybody ever been like? Am I the only one ever been that guy?
No, I think I can relate basically what I feel like you're saying is sometimes God gives us a vision, and it's not to be shared with other people until it's finalized, because sometimes people can distract you and wart you from what you want to do because they don't have the same eyesight that you have and their vision. God put that dream and God put that vision in that person, and if other people think that it's crazy, then it may distract or turn the person off, right? So I can definitely relate to what you're saying because there's oftentimes I've had to hold back and not tell anybody what I was doing because I didn't want to hear the negative noise on it and just like, oh, that's crazy, this and that. I basically had to isolate and kind of keep it to myself. And especially in this day and age, call me a conspiracy theorist or whatever, the computers and phones are always listening, right? I've had some ideas come up. Somehow that idea, I'm getting like it was released 12 months later on an idea that I thought of, and I only typed it out. Next thing I know, a year later, it's out. And again, that's my mindset, right? We can go down a whole another rabbit hole, right? But again, if God gives us a vision, He gives you that vision for a reason. When He told Noah to build an ark, right? He didn't tell everybody else, right? But everyone else was looking at him building an ark and was like, "We don't even get rain around here." He shared that with him. He didn't tell it with anyone. He had to isolate himself. Well, not isolate because his family was there, right? So that's an example.
Vincent, boy, I got to tell you, man, boy, I would say, man, because that would be good for me, but I have to be perfectly honest with you. That wasn't who I was when I was holding back. I
Yeah,
was
Mhm.
just being a selfish, egotistical kind of guy, to be
yeah,
perfectly honest with everybody out there. I was so, friends, I was so full of myself. I was
Mhm.
so full of myself, and my ego was my Achilles heel. So I really had an ego about myself, and I had to work through that. I had to learn to work through that,
Yeah.
and and open up and let people in. I didn't really want to let nobody in, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, I had some stuff inside of me that I'm working out of me as I grow. What say you, Fletcher?
We say God, but also in that same spoken, you wrote a scripture. God say, whatever He has for you is for you. No man can stop it. So when Noah was building that ship, building that thing, they saw it. He didn't have to say they saw what he was doing, so he knew what he had his planning in. So I'm saying, like you said, Larry, too. Also with me, I thought again. I was worried. I didn't trust myself. Me, I'm telling you, I didn't. When I found out that it wasn't about the person, I didn't trust myself. I didn't trust myself to be strong enough to go through it. You know what I'm saying? So when I finally got me right, it doesn't matter what nobody else say. I remember when I first, me and my neighbors used to talk about buying houses and getting real estate. We used to talk about all these great things we're gonna do and what we should have done and what we would have done and what we just sit there and I remember when I got into it and I said, man, I'm tired of talking. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do. So and I told him and I started moving forward. My wife my wife, she didn't understand none of it. She did not told her and the point that I'm saying again, when I told her about it and I was explaining stuff to her, I was getting frustrated again because she didn't see it as clear as it was to me. It wasn't clear to her. And when you started doing stuff, you can make somebody feel lower or smaller or dumber. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't see your vision, make it clear. You know what I'm saying? As clear as it was. So multiple things that I wanted to do, and I had to realize years later that it was not them, it was me. my vision wasn't clear. But it was not that I told somebody that they could have stopped it. They couldn't stop it. Only person could have stopped it with me. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I'm saying. When the personal stuff get into, like, I'm gonna give a story. Like, my wife went to school to get her hair license. She wanted to be a stylist. And we sit there and say, okay, we're gonna be a stylist. She went to the class, got so when she get, I had a room downstairs. I made it out a salon, a full salon. I put sinks in the house. I moved walls and did all these things and fixed it up sofa like it looked just like a salon. My wife did not like it. She said, I want to go work in a building with people. I said, well, why would you pay booth rent? Why would you do that? Look, we got a salon here. And then we used to argue over that. We used to argue over that and this and that. And I'm like, man, it don't make no sense. And I'm sitting there telling her this and that. And later on, it failed. The room was gone. And years, and I was angry. I was angry. But again, whose vision was it? Was it hers or mine? Now, who was I? Just say it was hers, and I felt that I was trying to help her. Was I helping her or hindering her? You know what I'm saying? So all these things, like you said, that word personal,
Yeah.
it take a lot of conversation. It take a
Yeah.
lot of understanding. You know what I'm saying? It take a lot of growth in that person. When you say that goal, when you say goals, you know what I'm saying, in that person, it's a lot entailed in that. You know, it's a lot
Yeah.
that you got to sit some time with yourself and really look at your situation. So I'm saying me, knowing who I am, I'm a kamikaze. I'm the type of person I'm just saying I'm going to do it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I'm not stopping. I'm not. My wife is the type of person. No, wait a minute. Are you sure? What about the kids? You know this and that. You know that and that. And I'm like, and we'll tend to say, well, you ain't supporting me. You don't see. I see the vision. Oh, it
Yeah.
ain't that I ain't supporting you. I'm not willing to throw. Again, we talking about risk tolerance. I'm not willing to throw everything in it. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
we'll tell, and this is personal. We'll say, well, my wife ain't no support. And you'll meet somebody else, and they're like, I see the vision. Why she don't? You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
think like when we saying our goals, our personal goal is deeper. It's a lot of communication. It's a lot of time.
Right.
It's a lot of understanding, especially if you talking about bringing another person in. You know what I'm saying? Because companies spend like we gonna just say companies when they bring somebody on board, they got ways. I mean, what you call it when they bylaws. They got all these things. You go through training. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Or
Yeah.
they put you with someone, and you sit there
Yeah.
for weeks, and you learn their way. Like we had a company I had. It was they. I'm not gonna say the name, but when I went into that company, I can feel the way they were. But I didn't understand it. So when they started teaching me their way, it was like wow. And but you bought in on their way, but they went through a rigorous training because she wanted to make sure you understand the vision and you do it that way. You know what I'm saying? So I think when we having these goals, I'm just saying me. I know I didn't do that, and it caused a lot of pain and anger to my relationship, to my marriage, even with my kids trying to get these goals through. Yeah.
Right. And Vince, I want to just say this too. Something you said, which I could definitely see where you're coming from this angle, and I want to attach on with it from me, friends. You know, the best person and the worst person, so I can. I'm out here being like they say in the old days, bug bone naked, folks. But I was this type of guy, Vincent, and you and I, we got similar personality. This me probably wasn't you, but if I share something and I'm getting this negative energy back, I can be I'm pretty passive aggressive kind of guy. What I mean about that word on the street community, I just shut you out. I just turn you off, and it's done. For as me, I'm done. You know, I'm not advocating that's the best way, friends. I'm telling you all, these are processing things I have to work on and work through. And someone out there listening, you all may find some similarity with these behaviors that we're talking about. And you see these signal, friends. The best thing in life, the best advice the three of us, can give you is to not accept the worst of you. Don't accept the worst person of you. That's just who I am. No, that's who you were, and that's who you chose to be. The work is in the working on those areas in your life that aren't pretty. Certain things about yourself are not pretty, But it's much easier to stay that person. It's much easier for me to just turn you off, cut you off, and just be passive aggressive. It worked. It worked my whole entire life. I can do it. Do I really need you in my life? That kind of attitude. Now, flip side of that, what person live, you don't live a successful life by yourself. We say all the time, it takes more than you, but we are so selfish, Fletcher. Vince, we're so selfish and we so full of ourselves. We're so full of our ego. Like Fletcher said, he did all of that, tore the house up, fixed everything up. That's just like many of us. Because we had a vision. You had a personal vision. I,
Mhm.
extra, had a personal vision. And the moment we get pushback from our personal vision, then oh man, it's all hell to pay. I just cut y'all. I close the book on you. Okay, right now I really don't want to talk with you. Okay, and that's see this topic of words on paper, but we're more than certain a lot of people dealing with this topic right now. Our personal goals start to isolate us, and we isolate people all the time, friends. Tell the truth and shame the devil. We isolate people all the time because our ego is still taking advantage of us. Go ahead on, Vincent. I didn't mean to go so long.
Nah, you're good. It's yeah. We do have similarities. I would in my younger days, I was like, my time is valuable. Like I'm not gonna argue. I'm like I'm quick to cut. Like quick to cut. You gave me the scissors, you out. Like it was that was the mentality coming up, right? And I still, as an adult, I have to work my way through that, right? It's we are a continual work in progress, and
Yes, we
the day
are.
we die, right? So I appreciate you being vulnerable with that because that's exactly how I used to be. It was like, I'm like it's just I don't have time to go back and forth with it, right? It was like that was my mentality. So I was that same way. Uh, I think the thing that helps, and I can relate to what Keith says, is sometimes even in my current marriage, when I think I'm trying to help, I'm only hindering and I'm making it worse because I didn't like I want to help. We as men want to be fixers, right? But like you said, that was their vision, but our vision is what how can we make this better for them, right? Any good husband, any good parent, when your kid tells you something that's what they want to do, you're going to invest the time necessary and you're going to support them. With our spouses, we support them, right? But the one thing that I've had to ask now is how can I help? What can I do? I got to ask. Because again, even in those times where I thought I was helping out, getting in arguments with my wife, and I'm like, dang, I was like, I'm thinking I'm doing the right thing, but I'm just trying to help you out, and it end up making it worse. Right. So in that goes with that vision. I look at the word personal goal. What does it say? Person, al, split it. Person. That's one person's goal, right? Yeah, we as our mates, spouses, we have goals that we have together, right? But it's okay to have personal goals, but it's like come back to the table. I've been selfish of it at times. It's like I want to do this. This is what I want to do, right? That's got me in trouble. If I don't communicate, that's when all hell breaks loose, right? So it's the visions that we've been given, and everyone is not going to see the visions that what we see, right? My wife's 5'5", 5'4". I'm 5'11". I can see stuff on the top of the refrigerator that she can't. There's lower areas that she can't. She can see that I can't. But when we talk to each other and communicate, we can both share what we see at different visions. I'll give you a better one. Me and my wife had just got into an argument. And it's funny that we're talking about this. We got into an argument years ago. We were going, I think it was Flicks Movies, going to see a movie, and we're arguing, and I'm trying to hide that ego and not talk and not speak or whatever. And I'm like, man, I forgot my glasses. But we had just had a heated argument before we left the parking lot. but I had to suck the ego up because I wanted to get us home safely. And I'm like, hey, I can't see. She was like, try my glasses on. It's like, man, I can really see out of these. She she said something. I don't know if I said it or she said it, but I'm like, even we got the same vision, even when we don't agree.
Hmm.
Said that was powerful. It was like we got the same vision, even when we don't agree. I was able to wear
Hmm.
her glasses and see the road clearly because we got the same vision.
Wow. Wow. That's wow. That's awesome there. That's awesome. Fletcher, come on back in here, man. I know you got something. We gonna stir this pot. Let's get it on.
No, and I think what it is, it, again, that word personal. We start taking things personal. The individuals start taking personal thinking against them, and we forget the goal. So the point was when my wife at that salon, I forgot the goal, and see to understand the goal, the salon can't work without her. You know what I'm saying? It
Hmm.
can't be without her. And I done got so caught up with my own self, and I'm telling her, trying to help her, and the personal, it was her. She had to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? So I should have yielded. You know what I'm saying? We talk about it now. You know what I'm saying? That was a scar that eventually healed. But I'm always been that person. I wanted to better us, better things. And my wife is the person like, she's like, I don't want to do that, and I always push again. My risk tolerance, I started learning too when we write these goals, and with that person, we got to understand risk tolerance too. You know what I'm saying? We got to understand uncomfortability, how far people want to be uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? And how to lay it out for that person. So as I move forward and start learning, again, communication is key to this thing. But just sometimes when you deep, the communication don't work. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that person, that when it's personal, let's just say you have a business. I was telling my friend, he went through that. And him and his wife worked in the business together, and he was saying they were getting into it. And I said, well, what was y'all getting into it about? Was it about the business, or was it about what it was about? And I said, because he said, well, it was about our marriage, but we was at work, man. We was in, but I said, but what, so it was about some of the marriage? He's like, yeah. I said, right then, you should have stopped. He said, what you mean I should have stopped? I said, right then, you should have stopped. You should have took your business hat off, put
Hmm.
your husband hat on. I don't care if you slow down. I said, you should have shut it down or walked around outside and figured out, hey, we got some, this got nothing to do with the business. It got nothing to do with what we at right now. So we need to go ahead and figure this out as we as a husband and wife. What is the problem, baby? Because this is, you know what I'm saying? I said, first I would have showed her that you are more important than anything. And she is more important. So he said, man, how is she more important than the business? Because without her, there is no more business.
Hmm. Hmm.
Without her, it doesn't move. So the goal, remember the goals that you sit and talked about and wrote down, she's a part of the goal. She's the main person in the goal.
Talk.
So it ain't the building, it ain't the pots, it ain't the food, it ain't the customer. So and now the business is dissolved because they never realized that. And now he realized, I told you, it wasn't none of that. It was her. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we get so caught up when we try to put two persons together. And like I got stories after stories, but it took me to go through. And like I say, being married and trying to do finance and trying to move through life, but add marriage and then you want to get a business together. You know what I'm saying? You want to work together. You know what I'm saying? And I already just being just married and trying to figure out the way of life and house and bills and everything. So now add to having a business with your spouse, and I had to learn that to the point. And I'm just thinking, well, this is gonna make the family better. Yes, we making more money, this and that. She should understand, and that person don't understand. That person, because that goal is so big that it smothers the other person. The goal can be so big that the other person don't feel like they're a part of it. You know what I'm saying? It's taken away. So many things, and you want to put the business, the dream over that person, over that, and this person makes the shapes how much. Like I told my partner, I asked him, I say, is the business in your name or her name? It's in both our name. I say right there, it's in both y'all name. So both of y'all are important. Both of y'all got to figure out a way to get the goal, because you got the goal, but the goal cannot. You can write the goals down all you want. You can have a vision board. You can have all. Without y'all two, it's nothing.
Hmm.
It's nothing. So we get caught up in goals, but we got to understand the person who is involved, like I said, personal involved into, and that's what me. Even in our marriage, sometimes we'll get into it. Like Rich say, we want to help, and we not helping. We hurting more than we helping because we thinking
It's
about
true enough.
ego. We thinking about our ego. And as a man, I'm supposed to do this and I'm supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, like I told my partner, you like, man, she wouldn't let me. I say, sometimes you got to let a person fail to see. They blind. You know what I'm saying? They don't see that, and they because you see it, they don't see it. And sometimes, unfortunately, we got to let them go. We got to let them make their way. And in that journey that they go, in that goal that they find in their way, you think that they learn, you to learn something about them too. And I
Mm.
say, so that's all tied into that when we say these goals. But these goals that we wrote, especially if we wrote them together, it can't work without either one of us. And don't let the goals take over.
Friends, if y'all enjoying this show, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a short commercial break, but we're going to dive much deeper down in this conversation, friend. We're talking about when personal goals isolate you from your partner. We got so much more. We're going to slice and dice on this conversation, so you don't want to miss it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in less than 3 minutes.
Next week, we're going beyond the paycheck. If tonight's show moved you, stirred something real, then next week is your front row seat to revelation. On world premiere Word on the Streets, we're pulling back the curtain and asking the question that hits home. What does it mean to provide beyond a paycheck? This isn't just talk, it's truth. It's legacy. It's the kind of conversation that shifts how we show up for our families, our communities, and ourselves. Don't miss it. The mic drops next week, and trust, this one's got soul.
All right, family. Now it's time to go deeper. This is the moment where we peel back the layers, challenge old thinking, and get real about what's truly holding us back and what can finally push us forward. So grab your journals, lean in, and don't just listen, engage. And if something resonates with you tonight, do us a favor. Subscribe, like, and share this message with someone who needs it. Because the conversation we're having is bigger than us. This is the world premiere Word on the Streets.
Sometimes chasing personal goals feels like climbing a mountain, focused, determined, and solitary. But what happens when that climb begins to distance you from the person who once cheered you on from base camp? When personal ambition starts to isolate you from your partner, it's not always intentional. You're building something meaningful, a career, a dream, a legacy. But in the process, the quiet dinners, shared laughter, and emotional check-ins may fade. The relationship becomes a background hum instead of a shared melody. How many of you all have experienced this? This isn't about choosing between love and purpose. It's about remembering that your partner isn't a distraction. They're part of the vision. Isolation often begins with silence, missed calls, unspoken feelings, postponed plans. Unspoken feelings probably resonate with some of you right now. But reconnection starts with intention, a pause, a question, a moment to say, I still see you. Your goals matter. So does your connection. The most powerful legacy is one built with love at its foundation, not just success at the summit. So, if you feel the distance growing, don't wait for the echo. Reach out, rebuild the bridge. Let your partner know they're still part of your journey, not just watching from the sidelines. Because the climb is always better when you're not alone.
All right, family, keep those comments flowing. We see you, we feel you, and we love hearing your voice in this space. Now, it's time to lock back in and lean a little closer. We're diving into part 2 of when personal goals isolate you from your partner. This is where it gets real. The tension, the truth, the turning point. Are your ambitions building bridges or building walls? Pull up, get centered. Let's get back into it right here on World Premiere Word on the Streets.
And you know what, friends? What So much I've learned in life, in relationships, so much I've learned. I've learned how to be a better communicator because one thing about being with someone is that a lot of time you think you made yourself clear, Fletcher. You think what you just said was understood, only to find out later everything you thought you was clear about didn't happen that way, didn't go as planned because they misunderstood what you said. And now their misunderstanding what you said create anger, frustration, but it was misguided anger and frustration is because perhaps maybe I didn't take the time to explain it, which is which is another big caveat in relationship, not just with your significant other, but with people in general. A lot of time
So
we
now,
talk to people, man. A lot of time we think we're getting through. Vince, we think we have made some headway only to discover much later on that they didn't understand where you were coming from.
well, let me
Because
put it on. I got a
huh?
question. I'm sorry. You
Go
say
right
that
ahead.
you saying the anger. Who you mean anger toward you or the other person? Because you seem like you singling it out. So because it could go either way, right? Or you saying when the anger?
Yeah, it can go either way. Is and what
Okay.
it, and what I'm saying is that commute understanding require listening and require questioning to make sure what let me get this right what you said. Are you saying this? Whatever it is, repeat what they say. And then it gives them an opportunity to explain to you what they say. But what I know for myself, I wasn't back in part of my life. I said what I said, and what I said was what I said. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That was that one way kind of street kind of thing.
Yeah.
And another thing,
And
huh?
when you said when you said what you said, and they still didn't have understanding, did you get upset about it?
Sometime I did.
Yeah. So then
Yeah.
they got upset because they didn't
It-
understand too, right?
right. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead. I'm
Exactly.
saying.
Yeah. Go
And
right ahead. And yeah.
no, I don't want to miss the point because, but we say communication is key. Y'all communicating. You see what I'm saying? Y'all are
You're
communicating,
right. We communicate right.
but y'all not getting no
And
understanding. You
get
see what I'm
no
saying? Y'all
understanding. That's right. And
and still don't have
communication.
no.
You're right. And
It's more than
communication on the
communication.
table.
Yeah.
So
Go
the
ahead.
plot
I
thickens.
just want to make that
Then the
point. Yeah. Go
question becomes, this is something we often talk about. Boy, look, I see this why, man, we love getting deep. You know why? When you talk about something deep, then you go deeper. Then we have to deal with the fact and the reason why we both communicating, but we're not getting anywhere. You know why? I came to the table with preconceived notion in my head that was already there, my way of living, my way of thinking, my way of growing up, my environment. And that person came up with preconceived notion the way they were brought up, et cetera, et cetera. Their whole network in their brain. We have these two different totally background. And like you said, but we're communicating.
ahead.
But one of us, I guess, speaking French, and the other one is speaking German. But we're not
Yeah.
speaking the same language, but we are communicating. Go ahead on, somebody.
Hey, if I can add, I'll say and I'll say this. I don't know if you heard of
Talk.
George Bernard Shaw.
Right.
He said the biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it is taking place. It emphasizes that often we assume that communication has occurred when it is not, leading to misunderstandings and misinterpretations. This quote highlights the importance of true understanding and connections in communication, suggesting that effective communication goes beyond more verbal exchange but involves active listening and comprehension. Yeah.
That is
But
so
one,
well said, Bernard Shaw.
yes.
Right.
Can we get to? I know that Latiana said something in the chat. First, she had said, "Yeah, sometimes it's better to keep it to yourself until it's ready to give." But then she also said on this other one, sometimes I get to a point with people that I feel like it's a waste of time sharing, talking, or explaining visions, thoughts, or ideas because folks don't listen or care. But I love getting excited when they do. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that is
I
really
speak on that right now, but I'm speaking on what she said. I, I think we give folks too much power. We give people too much power, and just like she said,
that's a
because
good point. So wait a minute. Say I'm sorry. Say that again, that last poll. We give people. Say that again.
you give them too much power over us. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying and I'm saying I'm a late bloomer on when I want to do things. When I wanted to have something done, when I wanted to create. I tell Jordan all the time, he a creator. I'm not a creator, but I'm a person that I have that I can do. And I'm the person like I like to say talk. I've always been a talker, so I tell people my visions and tell people what's going on. And it took me time to realize that they don't control. Long as I thought they controlled it, it bothered me when I knew they didn't control, because I'm talking to somebody that have no point of view. I just want to, I'm just bouncing, and sometimes I would do it just to hear somebody say something negative. At the end of the day, it's I control my destiny. Again, it takes time to get there. It takes time to get to that person, what to be there. But if you wait on somebody to give them that power, you would never reach where your clarity of what you're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? So for me, telling people like even in the business part, like and it's okay for that person to say no. It's okay for to put it back and say, okay, come back at it. But what do you do after someone says no? What if you all alone and you still got to complete that task? Wait on that person. I'm not waiting on no one. You know what I'm saying? I know I can do it on my own. You know what I'm saying? I know, and when I remember when my brother, he told me we wanted to get another house, and I kept talking to him. Like, hey man, let's do this, and he kept telling me no. I ain't ready. This and this and this and that, and I was getting to the point like, why am I asking him? My wife would tell me, why don't you do it yourself? Oh well, I want to bring him in, but that was an excuse because I worried about what somebody said. When I said, you know what, I'm about to do it, I'm going to do it forward on my own. That's when he came along, and he said, okay, if you're gonna do it all on your own. I just want to be a vest solid. And when I did it all on my own, they would say it doesn't mean again. We go back to that. What's for you is for you. And we said again, whatever you're looking for is looking for you. No one can stop it. And I say, when you stop giving that power to someone, when you stop saying, and I'm getting nothing against nobody on this panel and Ladiana either. That's what she feel. But I feel that no one, I'm saying, once I realized that and started saying that no one can stop me but me. You know what I'm saying? And again, it takes time to get there. But I'm saying I want to get back on the goals too. The goals when I first was introduced to the goal, I went crazy. I was like, oh my God, yes, we can make it. I got these ideas now. I know I can write it down, and I'm reading the books, and it was exciting. Again, by myself, it was wonderful.
Right
But
there, but here
when I,
go the problem.
yeah, when I try to implement that into my family, into my construct, it was a lot of pain. But again, it was a lot of pain. But them goals that I wrote controls all that. It controls all the emotions. It controls all the things. So it took me to learn that. So if somebody asks, hey, we want to do this, I look at our goals, our bylaws, and it takes time to build that construct. It takes time, like a company, when you building a company, you building the laws, you building all these things, it takes time to build them goals. And we think, and I'm just saying, let me say me, I can't speak. Just because we wrote it on paper, that's enough. No, it's a lot more than that. It's a lot of work that people don't say. They just say, hey, write it down and you'll be no. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of takeaway from them coming. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. But I
Mm,
promise you, once you get through it, when you get to the other side and that person, and you and that person again, when there's two, he is there. We talking about the Most High. Once you and that person get on the same alignment, Let's just say me and my wife,
We'll see.
and we
Yeah,
together, and now my
that's the key
kids
word you just said. Alignment. When
line.
when we
Now,
when we
now it's better two against one. I got three kids. Now I'm trying to focus on the goals. Me and her doing it together. Now we can say our life. Now we can go into our children. Now we can go into other things together. You know what I'm saying? But when it's one on one and we try to, it's like a divide, and it can break you. It can break your marriage. It can break your
yeah,
relationship. It can break your home. You know
that's
what I'm
right.
saying? Yeah. So
That's
we
right.
we think goals supposed to solve our things, but goals can break you too. It can dissolve you too.
hmm And the thing about it too is the light bulb doesn't go all on at the same time for everybody.
Hmm.
See, the light bulb in my head may be on, but it may be off,
Yeah.
or it may be a different shade in someone else's head. So the vision, everybody don't see the vision at the same time.
Yeah.
And getting on that page, as Fletcher said, getting in alignment is not, it's easy to say that, but it's a whole lot harder to get there.
Hmm.
It's hard to get in alignment because we got so much stuff in our own personal self way,
Hmm.
and the other person have things in their way, and to get on the same page, that's work. That's this word work is a frightening word nowadays for a lot of people, but it's work in relationship. It's work on the job. And I came to the conclusion, friend, this is my own definition. Work is doing something you don't want to do.
Yeah.
I came to that conclusion when my daughter was driving one day. She asked me, she was complaining about work. And she said, what is work for you? I said, work is having to do something you don't want to do. But just because you don't want to do it doesn't mean it shouldn't be done.
Mm,
See, that's the thing. I don't want to do it. That's not the same thing as saying don't do it. It shouldn't be done.
mm,
But the working relationship, whether it's with your significant other, your lover, your spouse, on the job, off the job, communication, as we say, friend, is not enough if you're not if you're not aligned. Getting in alignment. And then when you get in alignment, it's like an automobile, Fletcher and Vincent. A car, it doesn't stay aligned. It don't stay in alignment because you are on the same page today,
mm,
this month. You're on the same page for this week, this hour. There's no guarantee you're going to be on the same page next month. I'm gonna tell you that right now. uh,
mhm,
which effective communication, effective listening. It's just work. Ain't no other way around it. I can't make it sweet. I can't put enough sugar in it to try to make it sweet so you can drink it and swallow it. It's work. Go ahead on somebody.
No, I like what Latiana said after what Keith said, or I don't know if it was one of you guys, but no, after you gave the term, uh, you had said that you would come up with is work is something that you just don't want to do. She wrote back, she said, right, it is, but it's necessary.
There you go. Yes, indeed. You're right. Sometimes it's necessary.
No,
Anybody
this,
want to add with what I was talking about or drive down a different street?
no, I mean, just going back to the personal goals and isolating back from your partner, going back to the title. It's there is a time of isolation where it's good, right? But we just got to make sure that we don't stay there, right? But then in the process, because I've even put it on like back when I first got back on Facebook for my what was it, uh, 35th class reunion. I put in it gives you the opportunity to write a thought of the day or either what's on your mind. I said sometimes you do have to isolate yourself in order to focus on what you need to focus on. Sometimes people don't understand it, right? But it is, as Latiana said, necessary, right? because you do have to pull back sometimes because you got to pull back from the distractions. But again, the key is it for selfish gain? Is it for you? Sometimes you do want to do stuff just for you, right? Like it's just like I want to work out for me. Me and my wife were watching who was it, Dion Cole, and he had made a quote. He was like, "If you're 50 and over, and if you still working out, you got a side chick." And then I was like, "No, no, 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 no. I'm
Oh my
53 and
goodness.
I work out for me, right? I don't work out like I work out because it's what I want to do. I've been doing it for half my life, right? Makes me feel good, helps me to relieve stress. Is that a personal goal for me that's selfish? I don't know. I like to think me being healthy is better for the recipient of my family and my friends because I'm taking care of my health, right? So
What
That's
say you,
wild.
Fletcher?
That's wild to say that. You got to. I say, I guess he don't have no goals for himself. You know what I'm saying? You see, oh man, I speak on that. But let me get back on personal goals. But yeah, I just saying for goals for me, man. It just really when you write it down, really being humble and release to the other person. So we saying we're doing this as a couple to release everything to them, to let the goals and let them. It even grows them. Like when my wife, when we started the business, and I told me and my brother, I said, well, we started the second part. I said, you and her put y'all name on the business. You know what I'm saying? She have ownership on that part, and she had a role to play. We got different roles to play. So in her role that she was playing, things was going down, and me and my brother was talking. Well, why don't we give her to do this? Tell her to do this. I said, listen, man, we got to let her fail. If it work, it work. If it don't, it don't. But this is her position. She was part of the, you know what I'm saying? We got goals for the business, but we got to trust in her too. We going there trying to dictate this, it's not gonna work well. You know what I'm saying? And then I remember we had a discussion about something we wanted to change the prices or something, and I went to it humbly. I said, well, baby, you think that the price is too high? You know what I'm saying? She said, no, it's fine. She said it with a sharp tone too, you know. And I said, okay. And I went to my brother. I said, hey man, we just gonna leave that alone. Let's let it work out. He was like, well, we ain't had no customers. I said, hey, we gonna work. And at the end of the day, man, it blew up. You know what I'm saying? It worked. Her way worked. And I was like, we don't know it all. So we gotta let a person too. You know what I'm saying? In the goals, like we wrote goals too. We don't know like you say, day by day it can change. The person can change. But I'm saying that in that goal sheet, you are growing too. It's something that's being brought alive. It is changing directions too. That goals change directions in people. Live
Mhm.
change people as you write it down. You know what I'm saying? And they reading it, you communicating, you living it. You know what I'm saying? Like me and my wife, when we will communicate, we got to the point to go. We're not gonna communicate in the house no more. We're not gonna get in it. We're gonna go to the park in front of this little place we got. They got the water. It's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? We go sit in front of that and we just let it all out. And we then you know what I'm saying. Then it became to the point we was talking over each other. Then it became to the point that okay, I got to listen to her. I got to hear her. I'm not just listen. I got to hear her. Now she got to listen because now it's affecting our goals. It's affecting the business. It's affecting these things. So again, once you start understanding really what the goals are for, and really what the goals is have laws in there, reasons in there to keep you aligned. You know what I'm saying? It's keep you. So when that person want to say this, I ain't got to say nothing. I can pull the paper out and say, hey, see, it ain't personal no more. It's about
Right.
the paper now. You know what I'm saying? Now I can lie down and say, it said we were doing this. Is it a reason why? Let's discuss why you want to change this. Right? Is it a reason? Let's see the pros and cons of you changing this and going this way. But right here, we said together, we agreed to this. You know what I'm saying? Now there's not no bias in it. Now we try to get understanding. Now we get the reason. So now that's when you start. So that's what took me before I didn't understand goals. I was personal. I was all about getting to a point, getting to a destination. It's more than just getting to the destination. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it was for the goal, writing down goals. And I love goals. I love goals so much. You know what I'm saying? But I know I can bend the goals, but it take like me and my wife laugh. It take both of us to sign off on if we gonna change that goal. I can't just change it. You know what I'm saying? She can't just change the goal. We both got to sit down and sign off. How do this? Will this benefit us to change it? Is it really? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I started understanding because no goal. If we wrote it together, it ain't no goal, and it doesn't work. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I learned about goals togetherness. Yeah, I got my own personal, but also we got our goals together. Yeah.
Yeah, you got some feedback on there from who you got some feedback from Latiana. She said, "I like that, Daddy."
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I want Fletcher. You said so much, and I know our time is running, but I wanted to add something that uh, we have often talked about off the air, and something that we can apply in our personal life, in our home life, and that is putting system in place. Putting system in place, just like on a job. If a job has disagreement, they don't just shut down and say we're going out of business because I don't. Say we having a disagreement in the meeting. No, they have a system in place. They're going to have more meeting. They're going to draw up different plans. They're going to talk about that or whatever it is. They're going to resolve the issue and they're going to come up with things pretty much. And Fletcher, really what you were saying, you and your wife, y'all were creating a system in place. What
Yeah.
system they create? They say, okay, instead of we're going to hash this out, go ahead in front of the kids, we're going to take ourselves out of this environment in the house and we're going to find a new location. We're gonna resolve this issue. System in place, friend. That was, jobs. Don't we have jobs? Our jobs sometimes we move from the workplace and we have meeting elsewhere. Every job I know does that. They don't do it because they just want to have a good time. Part of, but it's a system, friends. And we listen. It is effective listening. It's question. You speak, I shut up. I listen. We question. It's a back and forth. It's a listening, changing the environment. These are effective systems that corporation put in place. And for some reason, when we get in relationship, we tear everything down and we in it, which is why divorce rate is over 39% and the mortality rate is high because we don't use what we learn from. I mean, jobs spend millions of dollars putting system in place and we learn those systems, but when we get in our personal space, our personal world, we don't apply any of them until much too late. But friend, if y'all tuning in, it's your first time, you're learning some things. You're learning to put some system in place in your life. And if you want to learn more things like that, you know what to do, friends. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Anybody else want to come in? I couldn't miss that opportunity to get them to subscribe, folks.
Now I agree with you about the system. What you said again. Being them goals created, like you say, now it created systems in our life. You know what I'm saying? It created systems, even in how my money works. You know what I'm saying? We have a system of how much we're going to pay, what we're going to pay us. It's just how the money flows. It's systems that's set in place, but it started with the goals. You know what I'm saying? How, and then you start saying, how can I make this system more effective? You know what I'm saying? To run more better. You know what I'm saying? Just so that's what about it. That's what it's all about. Then I start bringing, once we get to a point that me and my wife don't know, now we got to bring other people in that can help us get even better. You know what I'm saying? So just like companies do. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
you
So
building on it.
you building on something on that foundation. So again, so letting people in, if you have that part that you want to be, I know everything, I'm this and that, I just feel you won't grow. You know, and you got to be humble and receive that people. Again, I'm just saying for me, it started with the goal and following the goal, this is what it just blossomed into a whole big old thing. But this goals is still there. You know what I'm saying? The things are still there that we wrote down. You know, it's something like this. Me and my wife, my kitchen, when my wife wanted the kitchen to be remodeled. And I like, yeah, one day, we'll get it. And she found it. She put the picture over the microwave. And as time went by, it went by, and took the picture down. It's all greasy. Put it up. Years go by, and so one day we remodeled the kitchen, and we was cleaning up. We found the picture, and the picture is just like the kitchen. It was the same, and we ain't never looked at the picture again, and we were like, wow, you know what I'm saying? So even some mentally spiritual goals that you can have set in your mind is powerful. Not just writing it down. It could be a picture. It could be things. These things. You know what I'm saying? So with me, like I said, when I start really seeing into these goals, you know what I'm saying, it's powerful. But then again, when it's personal goals, but it's goals that you have with someone, and it's work. It's a lot of work, and the systems and things. It's a lot of work. So we just think just write it down, yeah. But it's the work it takes in between
Yeah,
it
it's a
is
whole
real.
lot
It's real.
more than just writing it down.
A whole lot more than just writing it down, man. It's a lot. You know, and people were like, "Well, I wrote it down on the thing and this and that," and you're like, "Okay," I did it because I'm saying when I first started our business with Airbnb, you know, I thought, you know, it's the family. I'm gonna put the family together, and we're gonna do this. And man, at the end of the day, I fired everybody, my wife and kids. I just fired everybody. I ain't cleaning right now. Hey, I just, and I'm thinking it's a family. And then when I said, "Hey," I realized, hey, I ain't got nobody. I need them back. And when I came to them to have a family meeting, they were like, nah, man, we don't want, they didn't want to work with me. And I understand, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking that, so again, what's the goal? You know what I'm saying? The goal was to get the business, but yeah, I wanted to run it a certain way. And by me trying to run it that way, I destroyed the goal. I destroyed the whole plan. So it's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work with you because it's personal, but it's a lot of work.
And from that, just to follow up, from that experience, didn't that help you with talking with other people, communicating with others?
Oh yeah, man. Like I'm gonna tell you what the biggest thing. I'm gonna say, well, again, we again, like you said, it's personal. And let's say you got the vision, like Vince said, I got the vision, you got the vision, and but you going through that vision. And my wife, the biggest thing my wife told me, the reason it was hard for her to follow me because I was wishy washy. She said, you changing up every time. You know what I'm saying? You said you're going to do it. This your vision, but you the one moving. And she was right. And I got so mad. I'm like, what the heck? What you said to me? You know? And I had to
Mhm.
really go, again, the isolation, to go look in the mirror and say, it was me. You know what I'm saying? They was ready to follow me, but I was all over the place. You know what I'm saying? I was all trying to make it perfect. So that would cause, again, that's the work. You know what I'm saying? So that's the work. You know, just, and again, my vision was right. It tells now, but how I implemented it was terrible. You know what I'm saying? How I implemented work was the worst part of it. But the vision I had was great. You know what I'm saying? And my wife said that you got great ideas, you got great, but when you how you implement, how you work it, that's the part. So that means that I wasn't making it clear. You know, I started when you read the Bible,
Right.
you gotta make it clear. You
That's
gotta make
right,
it
and
clear.
that's the point I wanted you to bring out because that was necessary. See, we learn when we move ourselves, our ego out of the way. We are able to learn how we can become a more better, effective communicator,
Yeah,
a better listener, or just a better person all around. And isn't that the goal, friends? That's what you remember early on. I said not to accept where you are. We don't have to accept the worst part of us where we are. What if Fletcher, what if myself saw the worst part of my experience and just embrace that and stay there? That person who found himself by himself. That's what
right.
gonna that's what gonna happen. That's what if you think that's attractive, you will find yourself by yourself. Friends, we're
And
gonna
that's
be
right.
huh?
That's where you tend to find yourself alone. Now you want to commit suicide. You lose it. You lose
Yes,
it.
yes. Then now it turns into something much deeper.
Much
Much
damage
deeper.
deeper. Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's
You
not
find
a
yourself now.
laughing matter. Right.
It's
We're
not.
smiling, but it's not a laughing matter.
That's what I'm saying. You
Because
find yourself.
this is real life. And real people are doing that because real people need to hear what we're saying right now. I understand where you are and who you are. I was thick headed, egotistical, and all those things too. We both were. So we're not applauding being that person. Some people relish and still boast about who they were, and but they want to live there and stay there.
Mm,
You know, there's a saying that that old man can't go where I'm going. It's a new day in a new way. So we have to let go of that person. Although I know it was comfortable being that person, it was enjoyable being that person. But you got to let it go. You got big things ahead of you. You have big things that you can have. And we don't want you to limit yourself. See, we limit ourselves because we want to hold on to what we were. What we were and who we were was good for that time and period. But for something you got to put in the work and do the work. We're not neither one of us telling you, Fletcher said this more than 10 times, it's not easy. But never once did he say it's not possible. It's possible, friends. Hey, Fletcher, we about to get out of here, man. You want to give the last word?
Yeah, I just advise people, man, like I said, communicate and having like it might start off, daily, might weekly, what I'm saying, communication, conversation about where you going monthly, what I'm saying. I say me and my wife, we start off that like that. Now we might, it be probably a week we got to sit down because we got businesses and also we got personal goals and we got business and also we got goals for our children because I want them out my house, so we got goals for them too, get them out my house. But it's constantly, it's a lot. But you got to sit there and communicate, and you got to, and I'm saying financial goals, you know what I'm saying? So you got to communicate that, and it's a lot, and sometimes it can get, it's not, it's you're not on the same page, you know what I'm saying? And you got to address it. You got to address it and find a way to address it to overcome it. Just saying communication is the key. But again, the goals you done written down, you know what I'm saying? And the things that you want, she won't. Like my wife, let me say this to you. My wife didn't have no vision. She didn't have, when I went to her, she like, I just want to be happy with my kids. That was her thing. You know what I'm saying? She didn't have nothing else with that. So matter of fact, that was even harder. Cause then it made me try to figure out her vision for her. So it was harder. You know what I'm saying? When I should have waited and did it. So it's a lot. It's a lot of work, man. And I think, you know what I'm saying, working on it and understanding, humbling yourself, you know what I'm saying, and having patience and understanding and getting out the way, it will help you. But write the goal, man, and make it clear. Make it very clear and have an understanding.
Hey, everybody. Thank y'all for tuning in. I want to give a big shout out to La Diana, who was really, really blowing up the chat room tonight.
Yeah, I see it. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, La Diana. Thank you, Selena, for being in that chat room also. And thank you all for tuning in and joining us tonight on World Premiere Word on the Streets. Friends, we can't wait. Make sure you show up next Thursday. We'll be here live and we're happy to be with you all. So make sure you tune in. We're going to ride out of here. We will see y'all Thursday. Same time, same place, same channel.
And that wraps up another powerful episode of World Premiere Word on the Streets. We're live every Thursday evening at 7:30 Central Standard Time, and we'd love to have you join us again. So take a moment to subscribe, tap that like button, and become part of this growing community. Until next time, guard your thoughts, speak only what you truly want to experience, and stay laser focused on what matters. Your words shape your world, and your mindset fuels your mission. We'll see you again. Same time, same place. Right here on World Premiere Word on the Streets, where truth meets transformation. Stay strong, stay grounded, and as always, stay true.